It's got to be public apparently. Preparing for live stream. This meeting is being live streamed. Got it. Meeting is now streamed. Okay. Allow. Okay. So I have no idea. More. Let's try to participants. Invite. Room system. I don't know what any of this means. Copy invite link. Okay, come back over to here. If you think I'm going to remember this next week, Zoom from YouTube. Control V, publish. Okay, try that. Where'd the Zoom meeting go? Okay, so the video, let's do, why is none of the video working? Why is my video not working? What happens if I share my screen? Share screen one, share. Okay, what are you guys seeing? Okay, that's good. Participants can now see your screen. Stop sharing. See if I can get the video to work. So what do I have to do to get the video to work? So this is that. So edit video? That doesn't sound right. No, that's definitely, no, that.
It's now streaming live on YouTube. And we can click it and it says view on YouTube or copy streaming link.
I'm trying to get the stupid camera to turn on. More live transcript recordings, stop live.
Oh yeah, under your
Top left, live on YouTube, good. Okay, that is definitely something I want, but do you see how it's just a black screen? How do I get the video to show up?
I mean, if you start streaming on Zoom, does it start on YouTube? Yeah.
I am streaming on Zoom, but I can't get my camera to show up. Ah, there we got it. No, that's this camera. I was trying for the big camera.
You just change your camera real quick.
I'm trying. So it's just not taking. Cannot, failed to start video camera. Please select another camera in settings. OBS virtual camera? No. HD Pro. I'm thrilled with that. Come on, start. Oh, okay. Start. No, that won't start. This will start. Okay, why is that not working now? Where'd it go? Video still failed. Okay, stop. Start. That was just working 2 seconds ago. You can see the video. Oh, damn. Well, now it's gone. Oh my God. Okay, so you shouldn't be able to see me now. Okay, now you shouldn't see me. You can't see me now, right? Okay, so now I'm going to change over to this. Still can't see me, right? Gonna hit that. Now you can see my big old head. Okay. Goodness gracious. Okay, but this is really not what I was interested in seeing, but that's fine.
Yeah, the screen is like, the video is like 10 seconds behind you.
Okay, yeah, I can see. So I'm counting.
On Zoom, it seems fine. but-
Okay, so Zoom is fine, but YouTube Live is not. Or excuse me, Zoom, YouTube is fine, or YouTube or Zoom is fine.
They're both working, but YouTube is like 15 or so seconds behind the Zoom.
And Zoom, okay, so Zoom is the one that we want to be using? Oh my God.
Can't just state that.
Okay, that's fine. I don't care. I just want it to work. Okay, so I'm looking at that screen. Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, I'm just on Zoom right now, not on YouTube Live.
Okay,
So
okay,
Zoom's-
okay. I am satisfied. This is good enough. Let me see what I've got going on here. Okay, do I need this window? Where did D2L go? Okay, here's D2L. I don't need this screen, don't need this screen, don't need this screen, I don't need this string.
Mine keeps freezing. So it's like moving now
Okay, are you on YouTube Live or are you on Zoom?
on YouTube Live.
Jump over to Zoom. Okay, because Zoom seems to be working, but I'm on YouTube Live and it seems okay, but this is interesting because YouTube Live has the big camera and Zoom has the little camera. Okay, so I'm going to try to switch cameras really quick. Now, what do you guys see on? So YouTube Live. Okay. I'm figuring this out. Okay, so I need to share the camera between YouTube Live and Zoom. So can I stop the video on YouTube Live? No, I don't want to end the stream. I want to stop using the camera. Edit. Customization schedule, visibility, education, playlists, show less, live stream contains paper, and automatic chapters, language, recording, standard comments, customization, live chat, anyone subscribers, cancel. Okay, how do I stop this video? Manage? No. Oh, this is only taking a half an hour. What could possibly be easier? Fine. We're going to give up for today. Okay, we'll pick this up on Wednesday because we've already wasted enough time. So we should all be using YouTube or Zoom at this point. And when I do this, we should see me. Yes? Okay, I think I've got this. Okay, let me come over to here. Let me close this window. I don't need that window anymore. Let me come over to here, course home. Okay, so Zoom, edit, use this link. Okay, Monday. See, hey, okay. Okay, update, course home. Jane better be online. Somebody better be online. Who's here?
I'm here.
Jane, okay, Jane's online. Okay. I think we have this working. Jane, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Jane, you're muted, I think, because I can't hear you.
Oh,
Or maybe
oh.
I'm muted. Hold on, I'm muted, not you. Okay. There you go. Jane, say something.
Something.
Jane better be online.
Can you hear me?
Wow, that's delayed.
No, that's the live, I think.
Okay, let me go ahead and get the YouTube live. Do I have to turn off the YouTube loop? Oh my God. Okay, let's turn that off. Okay, what happens if I stop this?
Can you hear me?
Wow, that's the way. Okay, let me go ahead and get my YouTube live. Can I, what, do you think I'm gonna crash everything if I turn off the live stream?
I don't know. I think in order to turn it off, you might need to go into Zoom and click on the top left again.
Okay, what happens if I stop this? Okay, so if I just, how do I? Okay, we've got some serious delay going on, and I've muted this thing.
It's probably your Zoom. Still streaming.
Yeah. So maybe if you're on Zoom, top left.
This,
The top left.
okay, so let me go ahead and kill this and see what happens. Leave this. Okay. Okay, we've got some serious delay going on, and I've muted this thing.
Top left.
We don't want to stop the live stream because then we'll all go back to super lag. We're using the live stream. Okay, so let me go ahead and prove this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks better than one to one, multiple ones in the span of 15
We're
seconds.
using the live stream.
That's weird.
I think it's every time it says it on here, the mic is picking it up because it's getting less volume each time. So it's just like,
Yeah, but where's it looping from? I have Zoom on currently. And I have just turned off all of the YouTube windows.
onto your mic, it's like the sound's coming from here and your mic.
Oh, it's coming from your guys' computers, you think?
From this sound bar into your mic.
Okay.
Either way, it doesn't matter. We have Zoom working.
Yeah, but this, and I say hello. Are we good? Jane, can you hear me?
Can you repeat that? You cut out for a couple seconds.
I think we're good. I can hear you. Can you turn on your camera real quick, just so I can kind of get an idea of
Yeah.
time? Darn it.
Can you
Okay.
see me?
Yeah, I can see you and you're in sync. Okay, thank you. I think we're good. We've got a little bit of sound that I'm gonna have to work with.
Can you repeat that? You cut out for a couple seconds.
Where is this coming from? I can hear you. Can you turn on the camera real quick? Just so I can kind of get an idea?
Yeah.
Darn it.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you and hear what you're saying. Okay, thanks, you. This is good. We've got a little bit of sound that I'm gonna have to work with. Hybrid classes can suck my toe. This. Okay, Jane, can you hear me at all?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, we gotta wait to see if the delay thing comes back and we get the 50-second echo. Really, that is like a full minute delay. I have a setting wrong somewhere. Okay, well, let's kill this. Let's just delete this. Okay, so now the only window that is on is this. I've literally closed every other window. Meeting, what is, okay, can't close that. Okay, Jane, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I think we're getting close. We got to wait about a minute and then we'll get this show started. Did I win? Oh my God. Okay. And after just 40 short minutes, we were able to get Zoom set up.
Beautiful.
Okay, somebody take some note on what the hell we just did so we can do it again on Wednesday. Somebody remember what we did. I don't think we have to turn live streaming back on, but we need to make sure that we close all the YouTube live windows out in order to get this. And then we can only use certain videos. Let me see if I can use this video camera now. Oh, I can. And you guys should be seeing the classroom now. Good. We're starting to win. I'm getting the hang of this. Okay. All right, Jane, are you
Yeah.
there? All right, why don't you go ahead and are you ready for your presentation?
Yeah, I just have a little video on D2L about it.
All right, go ahead and just, show us what you got and talk us through it.
All right. Here, let me zoom on my desktop too, so I can screen share. Open Zoom meetings. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? Oh, hold on. Sometimes I hate it. No, I'm not trolling. Okay. You guys can hear me, right? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Because I was getting like some weird feedback for a second.
Oh, no,
but-
you were sharing it with us.
Okay. I'm so sorry. It's gone now, right?
Yeah, you're all good.
Okay. Do. Oh, okay. Let's go back to. Okay, so would you just like me to play my video and then talk about it?
Just talk to us, clue us in.
Okay. So basically this past week, I was gonna focus on spell casting mainly, but then I was working through it and I needed a prerequisite because I needed some animations to go with the spell casting to make it look like things were actually happening instead of just standing there. So basically what I did was I imported a character and then I set up all the animations for this character so that it actually looks like she's casting a spell. And then I did a spell that she could cast. Let's hope this works. Can you guys hear that?
Nope.
Man.
You've got to share your screen audio in order to do that. There should be a button floating around in Zoom somewhere.
Oh.
You probably already clicked it closed. It was across the top. It said share screen audio or something. Look under your audio sounds now on
Okay.
Zoom.
Audio sounds.
So you're going to look for the big thing that says share screen. And then you're going to click on that. And then there'll be a microphone over there on the left.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, kind of pull that down. And somewhere around there, it'll say something like share audio or something. Share screen audio.
Well, I've got okay, so on the button that says you are screen sharing, there's like a little muted button.
I'll unmute it and see what happens.
Oh, well, I can't even click that one. All right, let's see if this works. Can you hear that now?
Nope.
Man.
So I'm
All
going
I-
to take your screen for just a second.
Okay.
Stop participant sharing. So can you see my screen at all?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Can you see like audio settings on it? Where I am?
Yes.
Okay, so let's see, speaker, audio settings. Let me look at this real quick.
Would it be easier if you just shared your screen and then we talk?
No, I want to hear her stuff. Sync button, hit that. Okay, so this is not where it is. Share screen, advanced sharing. One participant, multiple participants can see. No, that's not it. So let me share my screen. Share this screen. Share. Screen sharing. Stop share. Polls, participants. Same as microphone. Where is this? Audio settings. Test speaker. Audio. Screen share. Full screen, maximize scale. Enable. Side by side. Silence. Share applications. I could, but I'm trying to not do that because it's my computer slows everybody else's thing down when I start doing stuff. Well, no, that's why we just put the YouTube stuff in. That's what we just avoided. And I really want to get all this stuff worked out today so that we can do this throughout the semester, because we're going to have to do this again, and again. So you're right. I'm trying to work around it. This is the workaround that's supposed to work, but I can't remember how to get the stupid, somebody look up how to share audio for screen share on Zoom.
On the bottom left corner of the share slide.
That's what I thought. So I'm sharing, okay? Ah, there it is, share sound right there. Jane, can you
Okay,
see?
so yeah, when you pick the screen, okay.
So check both of those boxes when you click that screen. We're gonna get this all worked out today, and then this is gonna be the end of this nonsense, and we're just gonna have seamless technology the rest of the semester. Either that, or I'm gonna make everybody come into class and just shut up and sit down.
All right.
Okay, Jane. Give it a try, Jane, see what happens.
All right, we're gonna share computer sound.
And optimize for video.
Okay. Okay, can you see it? All right, let's see if you can hear it. Spinning wheel of death.
Hello, my name is Jane Anderson.
I hate my own voice.
So the theme for this week was spells, so I did some research about that. And when I was trying to make some, I realized that I needed a prerequisite, and the prerequisite was spellcasting animations, just for cohesiveness. So I did some research this week, and I followed a string of videos. Let me open up my browser.
Jane, make that full screen, please.
Videos.
Oh, yeah.
Dev Squad, Vertus from Dev Squad, and it's like a string of 50 making an entire RPG, or at least RPG elements using Unreal 4. I didn't do all of them. I did a big chunk of them, though. I think I did like maybe 7. And so basically what they covered was, like, I already had the health and mana, but I imported some animations in a character. I set up the animations using states and blend spaces, and then after that we could actually do a spellcasting animation that works with some spells. So here's just kind of how it works. So I imported this character from the Mixamo website, which is what Dev Squad used. And so we will be using my little crypt level. We'll go in here. And so if you damage yourself, you can now heal yourself with a flashy healing spell. Heal yourself for about 15% HP each time until you hit 100 HP or 100% HP. I'm sorry. And you can do that until you reach 0 mana points. At that point, you can't cast anymore, and you'll need to restore your mana to do so. So, you can get these potions over here and restore your mana. Okay, so that's kind of the nitty-gritty. So what I did here was I imported this character from Mixamo, this little Eve character by Jane Gonzalez, and its accompanying animations. So you see here, we've got all this in here, and so then you go in and I made a little character blueprint, or a character animation blueprint. So you have states, and you have your output pose. And so then, this is actually super interesting to me. So you have your states, and what I made was an idle, a walk and run, and a casting state. So basically what states are is just, conditionally speaking, what your character is doing animation-wise. So if your movement, here's your transitions here. So between the idle and walk and run, you have your conditions which actually determine whether or not you are idling or you're walking. So in this case, it's your character's speed or movement, how fast your character is going. So if your character is going about 0, then you're going to be idling, doing what she's doing over here. Anything over that, and your character is going to be walking and running using a blend space, and I'll go over that in a second. And so we have those two, and then to actually cast the spell, we have a spellcasting state, which uses a spellcasting animation. So, let's see here. And the spellcasting animation just uses a Boolean for its logic. Alright, so if I go into the states here, so the walk and run was a little different than the idle and the casting. So the casting was just a Boolean, and the idle is just if you're not moving. But if you're walking or running, we used a blend space. And so what a blend space is basically a visual representation of what animations your character is using, depending on the character's speed and the direction your character is moving. And it's really neat because you could just kind of click and drag animations from over here in this bank over onto this graph to visually represent it. And you can actually pan through and preview the animations your character will be using. And it's really, really smooth, and I'm really, really pleased with it. Of course, if your character's not moving, idling, starting to move forward, we're walking, moving all the way forward, max 600 speed, we're running. So that's pretty neat. So we use that blend space to get kind of a gradient and some nuance to the movement when your character is moving, using those direction and speed variables. So that was really neat. So blend spaces, definitely use those in the future. And so after that, using the spell casting, so we did some blueprinting for the spell casting over here. And so what happens is, in a lot of RPGs, you have like your little hotbar, and you can use like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the numeric keys at the top. So what I did was just kind of map ability 1 to hotkey 1, and so when you press the hotkey, you will actually cast a spell. And this actually stops your character from moving around just for balancing purposes, so your character will stop everything. We'll drop what it's doing and cast the spell, using some logic here. So at the cost of 25% of your mana, you will regain 15% of your health. And when you do that, if you are casting, you will actually spawn the little emitter at your location. And I used Infinity Blade assets for the emitter. So your emitter will spawn, and after a short delay, you will stop casting and return back to the walk, run, or idle states. And so then there's just some conditional logic. So you have to have more than 25% of your mana to cast, and you can only fill your health to 100% from like 0.85, for example. So you can't, that fixes bugs, so if you don't have like 130% health or something like that. And so then that's just some conditional logic and some duplicate code and more emitters and whatnot. But this is going to be really useful, and I'm glad that I set these animations up, you know, manually instead of just plugging and chugging with a character, so that, for example, in a group project I will be doing with a couple friends of mine, one of them is working on AI, and he has a little character that follows you around based on line of sight. So if it sees you, it's going to come for you. So what I was thinking is that could be really useful. So over here in the Mixamo animations that I found, there's a lot of crouch animations. So you can crouch idle, crouch and walk around, so like you're sneaking. So that would be pretty neat to add to a level, like a little sneak mechanic, like in your little roguelike dungeon or whatever, kind of like Skyrim or something. So I feel like this can be applied to a lot of different scenarios, which is really neat. And I'm glad that I went down the little animation rabbit hole. So that's basically just kind of a quick summation of the research I did this week. And I hope you enjoyed it and maybe learned a little bit. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys around.
Thank you, Jane. That was awesome. Okay, so Jane covered all her videos pretty much. I think that because you were supposed to, had to do one, Jane did them all. So she's actually pretty set up for her research project presentation where she kind of customizes this a little bit more and starts to maybe work with her partner to get some assets in there and do some stuff. But this is pretty much nailed it. This was not the high-level overview that we've been doing, right? This presentation was a deeper, more in-depth kind of look, these were the tutorials I looked at. This is what I'm doing. So this is a great asset to have below the little 30-second clip of, look at this cool thing we did. Do you want to see more? Look at this. But she still really kept it high level as she talked about state machine, the different states she was using, how she was achieving. She didn't really talk too much about nodes. She talked a little bit about Booleans. She didn't pull out a Boolean and be like, this is a Boolean. She like just covered the material perfectly. This is exactly what I want. How many of you have something very similar to this today, including my online people? Who else is online? I know Jane is online. Who else is online? Put like a thumbs up or something in your thing so I can see who's actually online. I got Jared is online. Dustin is online. That's it. Okay, there we go. Jacob is online. Okay. Okay. So are any of my other online people as ready as Jane is? Put a thumbs up in the stuff. Okay, any of my on ground people as ready as Jane was? Okay, good. Okay. What's your last name?
Short, but you know, it's kind of.
I just can't ever remember your last name. And the masks are really messing me up this semester, I've got to say. Okay, so I guess since we just did an online person, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an on ground person, and we're going to test the tech for that. Are you good with that?
You want me to stop sharing?
Yeah, go ahead, stop sharing. You did perfect.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to have to grab, can you do it from your computer? I don't know what's going to happen if you try to do it from yours.
I can pull out my laptop, but I can.
Okay, so I'm going to have to mute. Okay, see what happens now.
Hello?
No.
No, that should make it totally worse.
I think you need to mute this soundboard.
Okay, I can't mute. Oh, yeah, but we should be able to hear from his computer.
Hello?
We won't be able to hear.
Can anybody on Zoom hear me?
Can we just have Mike present?
I can hear you.
Okay, Jane can hear him.
All right.
I'm trying to get it so that when people aren't in the classroom, everything works.
Should I?
Would you rather present there or up at the teacher station?
I'll just pretend here. It's fine.
Okay.
So, okay. So for this, I basically just did similar to what Jane Anderson did. I did root motion as well as top of that, I added some very basic AI to a wolf character. So here I can show that.
Hello, my name is Andrew Sheets, and for this tutorial project, I created an AI character along with this animation blueprint, which includes root motion. So, as you can see, for the root motion, I had to create a blend space, which goes from idle to walking to running, right, left, and vice versa, and everything for running as well. So for the first AI that I made, I used a third person character and a custom wolf blueprint that I made, wolf character AI that I made. So I got the mesh, the skeleton, and the animations for the root motion. 1 second.
Can you mute your microphone?
Mute my microphone?
Mute your microphone.
Okay, 1 second. Todd has an idea.
Motion from the marketplace. It was free for a month, and I put that together into an AI character. So for this first AI, I used a very simple AI move 2 node for testing, and as you can see here, the AI and the wolf will of course run to the location which was predetermined. But on top of this, I also created a second AI with these 3 wolves. This one is not included in that has no AI. These 3 do, and these will follow the player. As you can see here, they have path. They can work their way around on objects, and as well, you might notice that they also have root motion enabled, so they will turn whenever it makes sense that they would. Can push physics objects. And I think this will work very well with the Arctic level that I have set up with my team, but I'm going to have to, of course, make this a more complicated enemy AI, but I think this, for the goal of this project, I just kind of wanted to create a character that I can work on, essentially. So I think that was pretty interesting. For this, I used a behavior tree, a blackboard, a custom AI controller, and a nav mesh. So the behavior tree is very simple, but it works very well for what it is. For this initializes the behavior tree, the blackboard, and the leader variable, which basically selects an actor in the level. You can select an actor in the level, I should say, that the wolves will follow. And let's see, of course, I have the nav mesh. There's also an extra here where you can turn off the possession of the first-person character and place this into this wolf that has no AI, and you can play as the wolf character. Fully functional. It doesn't have a whole lot of interactivity. You can just play around as it. It uses the mouse as well as the keys on the controller, or the keyboard, to move around. It doesn't have any sprint functionality, but this is just kind of a nice little extra. I'm probably not going to use it in the final level, but I think that is just something neat I could show off here. So I hope you enjoyed the little demonstration here, and thank you for watching.
All right, so you're now unmuted. Jane, can you hear me? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, no, they just said they could hear me yelling at you. So I'm actually yelling through your microphone right now.
Okay, so should be able to hear me through this then?
Yep, see, we can see your.
Okay,
screen
yeah,
right now.
okay.
All right,
So,
so like, I got a couple of quick questions.
yes, of course.
Great presentation, super interesting. I would love to see your game with a third-person character as the wolf or a quadruped. That would be awesome. So you did some of what Jane did, but you also added a lot of AI on there, right?
Yep.
So how was mixing did you follow a tutorial to mix the AI and the animation?
So I had to use root motion for this, like you saw through, like when I went over the blend, when I had to blend the animation together. But the The tutorial, luckily, I had to go through like several to find one that actually worked with root motion because I wanted to use root motion, I knew from the beginning. But I managed to find one that actually was able to set up both of these at the same time. So I could, every time I would find a tutorial with root motion, it wouldn't enable, like they would set up their own custom node for AI. So for this, I had to, I found a tutorial that allowed the built-in AI system for Unreal to work with root motion. So
Okay,
I found one,
stop for
yeah.
just a second. Tell us what root motion is.
So basically, root motion is just blending between different animations procedurally. So basically, they will, if a character is supposed to be turning, then they will turn that direction, and it basically just stops characters from immediately like shifting to a direction.
Okay,
They
so how
will
is that different
smoothly.
from what James showed us?
Well, I mean, she did pretty much the same thing with her character and Wolf. The thing is, the only different thing is I had AI on top of it.
Okay, so you use the blend space animation blending tool.
Yeah.
With the AI, and you looked for something that used root space animation in order to control your blend space.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
I'm just
Also, I used a state machine as well in case
Okay,
that's
so
goes on.
when we talk about it, you want to like narrow it down like that. Just get it. You want to get those. You want to hit the big words first. So you use blend space controlled by root motion with an animation tree that followed your AI and blueprint code.
Okay.
And that will tell everybody immediately that you did something cool. And if I'm looking for somebody that can do that, really want to pull at those points. And then you can break down each part in your presentation. Now, for your upcoming project, your research project, where you do something different, you create kind of your own flavor of this, what are you going to do?
Okay, so I'm probably going to change the AI to make it actually enemy AI, so it'll be able to like follow the player. Well, search for the player and then attack the player. So,
Okay, cool. Are you going to do quadruped or biped?
I'm probably going to stick to the wolves. Yeah.
Okay, and how are you going to do your attack?
I'm probably going to use a state machine,
Okay.
kind of similar to what Anderson did for the spell casting.
Absolutely, but melee attacks can be a little bit more challenging.
Okay.
I want to say a little bit, I mean.
A lot, yeah.
Significantly.
It's pretty complicated.
Thank you very much. Okay, so can you mute yours, please? Mute over here. Okay. Andrew did his stuff on a laptop and we got that volume worked out. Eli's going to go next and he's on a school computer. I have no idea what the sound system is. We're going to start by.
I can't unmute because I don't have a microphone.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, so you are going to use the big microphone. You're going to optimize screen share for video. Okay. So go ahead and share your screen. Now, click both of those on the bottom. And share. Now, you're going to have to yell loud because I'm not sure what the microphone.
Gotcha. In that case, I'll just start.
Okay, hello everybody. I'm Levi Walker.
Okay,
This is my,
pause for just a second.
okay, hello.
And Jane, can you hear Eli's stuff when he was talking, when the video was playing?
I can hear the video.
Okay, go ahead.
Everybody, I'm Levi Walker. This is my check-in for the research project. As you can see here, hello everybody, I'm Levi Walker. This is my check-in for the research project. As you can see here, it looks pretty blank at the moment, but I assure you it's not. So really quickly, I'm just going to go over here. As you can see, I have a persistent level and a bunch of different procedural cells that I've created here. They appear as I, unhide them here. The tutorial that I used was this one here by Pub Games. They have 5,000 subscribers. Very awesome channel. Helps me out a lot. As you can see here, he goes through the making of some cells, and I made some more than he did, but he goes through how to make it and stuff like that, and how you can apply it in different ways. It's pretty awesome. So I'll go ahead and just show you what's going on here. So when you click play, I have it on simulate right now, a whole new map is generated, and all of these are cells. Each of these are cells. If I stop simulating and simulate again, a totally different layout is had, and you can do this, definitely, and a new seed will be generated each time. This is awesome for like roguelikes, dungeon crawlers, anything like that. It's really, really awesome. And these cells, like this one with the 2 blocks on it here, it's like rotated in a different place over here. So like rotation is fine. It rotates them differently. So yeah, let me just go ahead and show you how I did this. Okay, so now we are in the level blueprint for the level. So okay, and here on event begin play, we're gonna stay zoomed in too because it's kind of spaghetti when I'm not and the comments are too big. So on begin play, 2 for loops are fed with a 0 to 8 cell grid to work through, and basically it means it's sending an 8 count out of each output index. So on begin play, I have this variable set up to be 8 by default, but we can set it up to whatever, and that basically, this variable controls how big the map you're generating is. Like right now it's an 8 by 8. And then it takes that from 0 to 8 and it pumps it out, and I'll be showing you what it does with those indexes here in a second. So down here we have this array stores all of the cell names, and then one is randomly chosen to be loaded into the level via the random integer assignment, this one right here. And as you can see, I have all my names for my cells here. It takes the length of them from the array and chooses a random number, which is assigned to each of these in terms of the index number here. It gets their name, and then gets the streaming level here, retrieves the level cell data that needed to load, and it pumps it up here. But before we do all that, these indexes that are pumping out of these for loops, aka 0 to 8, are being pumped down here to these nodes. And this is a bunch of math stuff that has to be done in order to successfully replicate a cell grid. Basically, like it says here, the output index from both for loops are fed into these nodes, where some math needs to be done in order to assure no cells are colliding when loaded into the main level. Basically, a really long-winded way of saying you have to load in the cell grid variable, aka right now is 8 for me, and pump it into the tile size, which is 1000, and it does a lot of math down here, which can get kind of convoluted, but basically you're multiplying and then dividing by 2 to make sure you get no cells are colliding with each other, more or less is what that's doing. And then here, setting up the rotation gets a random integer of 4 and multiplications or factors of 90 for rotating for right angles and 90 degrees. You get the gist. And then all this is pumped into the make transform, and the transform goes directly up here to the set for the level. But again, this is the main node that we're going to be talking about today. But this right here happens right before as well, and this keeps track of what cells were loaded in the level instance if you needed to go back and check out what was this seed or what was the composition of this particular level generation. But anyways, after all this, after the for loops, this is triggered with all the information down there, and it's creating the level instance and everything before it guarantees a random level layout each time. So after that, we have just the little finishing things that happen here. After the level instance is created, the transformations are set, the cells are set to be loaded, and the cells are set to be visible. Loaded and visible are both checked, and it sets the level transform. And so yeah, this is basically how I created a procedural generated level. And over it'll be random each time, and so I plan to use this in the research project with Sam and Jane as we begin working on our dungeon crawler roguelite. So yeah, thank you for watching.
Yeah. Okay, do you have anything more that you'd like to add to that, or would you like to do question and answer?
I can do question.
Okay, Okay, so you want to do question and answer?
Sure.
Okay, so that was kind of one tutorial, right? What are your other tutorials?
My other tutorials are just off screen share, but I haven't pulled up right here on my screen.
Go ahead and screen share.
Okay.
We got people that aren't in the classroom.
Okay, so my other tutorials are linked here, at least the main ones that I'm going through or whatever. This is the one that I did for this week, and then this one right here, I'm going to use for some. This one I'm going to use for like some basic. In this tutorial, it shows when a door opens, you can load up like procedurally while you're playing, not just like when you start playing it, like while you're playing it, like generates errors. So I plan on using this guy to learn how to do that. As you can see, when he opens this door, it'll there like that. So I plan on using that guy to see how to do it during gameplay, and then this is going to be the big like meat and potatoes of what I'm going to do. This is a multi-hour bunch of parts of how to like procedurally generate a dungeon kind of level with like different parts and different halls and different rooms and stuff like that. So I plan on just diving deep into this and learning how to do it that way.
Yeah, this is the video that you're missing.
Yeah.
So like, the problems that I saw when I watched your stuff, or when I saw what you were doing, was that you don't have edges, and you can't tell. You don't have a compass kind of thing, so you can't tell if somebody's touching northeast, southwest, and somebody could just run off your world kind of thing.
Right.
You don't know how to build doors, walls and doors kind of thing to divide up when you want. So those are some things that you're definitely going to have to look out for, but this is on the right track. Does anybody have any questions for Levi? Online vote, do you have any questions for Levi? Nobody has any more questions? Okay, Sam, you said you were ready?
Yep.
Okay, so I believe Levi, Sam, and Jane are all one group, is that correct?
That is correct.
I am seeing a theme here.
So I need to share my screen, share sound, optimize for video. No.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So mute your volume or mute your thing and then share your screen and your stuff and you should be good and share. And then go full screen. And it's almost like we've been doing this for years. We should be able to hear yours once you hit. Are you talking to someone?
Yeah, I start talking like at the beginning.
Okay, well, turn your volume.
Oh, maybe it's because.
Yeah, turn your volume up. Yeah, just getting your computer on. Just heard it first.
And this is my Module 6 research update. And out of the 3 tutorials I chose, I chose to demonstrate the AI perception that I set up. So, as you can see, there's a navigation volume box for the AI, and I'm going to go ahead and hit play, and I'm going to hit the apostrophe key to turn on AI debugging so you can visualize what's going on with the AI. Anyway, so at the beginning of the level, the AI in the behavior tree, it will try to find the player's location and it will start moving towards it, kind of chasing the player around.
Did you optimize for video?
But since
Oh, yeah, it's real fuzzy, isn't it?
Yeah. So stop your screen share real quick.
Okay.
And then screen share again. Then you got to optimize for video. Okay. So then share. And then let's give that a second to catch up. And I don't know what's going on. We were working fine.
Yeah.
We had it for a
I
second.
have it set to 720 from the get-go, so maybe that'll.
I can stream online.
Well, no, I'm just curious why this computer isn't working and that one is. You know?
So weird.
I'm trying to get class to work here. It's killing me.
play, I'm going to hit
But the whole screen too.
I love Windows on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Oh, goodness, bro.
Hello, this is Samuel Pinx, and this is my Module 6 research update. And out of the 3 tutorials I chose to demonstrate the AI perception that I set up. So, as you can see, there's a navigation volume.
I think we should try to do it from Levi's computer.
Yeah, see what happens when we do it from Levi's computer. Let's just, I mean, we're just trying to get this stuff right. Once we get this technology right, we'll have it for the rest of the semester and it'll be nice because you guys are going to be presenting from now until the semester, end of the semester. We got people on ground and not on ground, so we got to nail it.
And this is my Module 6 research update. And out of the 3 tutorials I chose to demonstrate the AI perception that I set up. So, as you can see, there's a navigation volume box for the AI. And I'm going to go ahead and hit play. And I'm going to hit the apostrophe key to turn on AI debugging so you can visualize what's going on with the AI. Anyway, so at the beginning of the level, the AI in the behavior tree, it will try to find the player's location and it will start moving towards it, kind of chasing the player around. But since it is perception based, as soon as the AI loses sight on the player, there's a task that will cause the AI to kind of patrol and wander around in random locations, almost searching for the player. And that is much less cut and dry than a specified or specific patrol route. It's a lot more, I guess, organic and realistic. And since it is perception based, as soon as the player gets into the line of sight of the AI like this, it will start chasing the player again. And this will work great for the combat system I will be developing for the project and for the final project. And Jane and I in our group, we talked about the possibility of even implementing a light stealth system, and this will help out tremendously in that goal. And I will now break down the code. Alright, now time for the code breakdown. So in order to get this perception AI to work, I had to create a new AI controller, and from there I added the AI perception component. And as you can see, whenever I have it selected, there are elements I can create, and there's a bunch of different ones you can choose from. You can choose hearing and a bunch of other, among other things, and sight was one of them. So I decided to do a sight perception based system, and it has a radius of 3,000 for the sight and a loose sight of 3,500. So to go into the code, in the controller, you can see here that at the beginning of the level, it just runs the behavior tree I set up. Super simple. And this right here, this code is responsible for setting up the AI perception. So it updates the AI perception, and then it sets it as a boolean, and it has the name of can see player. So whether or not if the AI can see the player, it's true. If it cannot see the player, it is false, and you'll see that later. And it gets the blackboard that I created here, and it sets it as the target. And let's see, going into the behavior tree itself, it all starts out with the root, then the selector, and I have 2 specific, I guess, branches. And this one here is for the cannot see player. And I set up in a board for this tree, so that as soon as the AI gets the player location, it will abort all of this and focus on this branch. So going into this, the AI will get a random location within a radius of 2,000, and then it will move to it just using a move to node in the behavior tree, and it does this every 0.5 seconds. And going into the get random location task, you can see here that all tasks start with a event receive execute AI, and all this does is it gets the control pawn, which is the AI, and it gets that location, and then it sets it as the origin for the random location in navigable radius, and that radius is set to 2,000. And then it sets that radius, that random location, to a blackboard value, which is a vector, and then I promoted this to a variable so that I could call upon it within the behavior tree, and it is the random location variable. Then finish the execute, and that task is done. And then moving on to the can-see player branch. So as soon as the AI catches the sight of the player, this will all be stopped immediately, and then the AI will focus on this branch. And as you can see earlier, the can-see player variable I set up, which is the Boolean. Can-see player is not set pretty much means that it is false, and then it is set means it is true. So once the AI gets the player's location and it can see the player, it gets the player's location using this task, which will get the player character, get its location, set it as a blackboard value as a vector, and then I promoted this key to a variable so that I could use it later, and it is public so it could also be edited, and then it finishes the execute. So it gets the player's location and sets it as a blackboard value. And then once it has that blackboard value, it will call the move to AI player task that I created. And as you can see here, it gets that blackboard value for the player location, sets it as the goal, and then performs a simple move to location using this node here, and then finish execute. And in order to get all of this to work, I had to also add in a AI perception stimuli source within the third-person character blueprint, and I chose the AI sense sight for that as well, because without that this would not work, because that kind of tells the AI that this is one of those things to kind of follow once the perception is set onto the player. And that is how I managed to do the AI perception. Thank you.
Okay. I mean, I can answer some questions or, yeah, that's about it.
You're going to be the one that is linking the attacks into this, right?
Mhm.
Why don't you tell us about how you're going to link the attacks in?
Yeah.
Because we know that Jane has got the magic attack.
Yeah.
Are you also going to be doing a melee attack?
Yes. So there's I kind of did some light melee with my midterm, and I was kind of going to go more in depth with it using this melee AI series by Ryan Laley about how to specifically do that, and how I was going to do it was I was going to use the marketplace assets, kind of similar to how Jane did it, but she got hers from a website. And with the sword that comes with, for example, the Greystone asset, he's a sword and shield guy. And there's a type of, there's several different combat systems you can do, but I really like the sphere collision. And I can put a sphere collision box from the bottom of the blade to the tip, and then add a notify state to that, and then start dealing damage that way. And then I'll have to kind of go into the montages, the animation montages, and attach that notify state.
Okay, so go back to your video and use the perception state and explain to me the difference between the perception state and the attack state. Like what AI are you going to use in order to get this to work? Like, are you going to use another perception? Are you going to use what kind of tree? What are you going to do?
I would like to do the perception, because with my midterm I had the basic, there was no perception. As soon as the player walked into the navigation box, it triggered. But I'd like to kind of apply the damage and melee to the perception-based AI. Using this system, I kind of blend the two.
I'm not sure I understand exactly how you're going to use your perception to get the attack to function. Does that make sense? I understand what the perception does. So you perceive that you're close, you perceive that you're like you're on a location. You're in a certain vicinity within that.
Mhm.
Now you swing your sword, but you're going to need another system that detects whether you hit the character or the enemy or whatever
Mhm.
from that. So what system are you going to use for that?
Well, not quite sure, because I know for the midterm, it was the notify state, and with the collision, it detected whether or not it hit the enemy pawn, which is what I'd be setting up for in the project.
Hmm. So you're in perception.
Mhm.
You have seen the character.
Yes.
Then you're gonna have to have another state for caught the character, right?
Yeah, I think I saw something on the documentation that kind of mentioned damage states. Like an AI damage sense configuration. I'm not entirely.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I'd have to do more research on that.
So this is where your research has got to come. This
Yeah.
is where your next steps are. You
Uh-huh.
really need to start to zone in on how you're going to get it. Because we've seen 2 or 3 people kind of playing with AI and this and that. We can see that there's a couple of different ways to do it.
Mhm.
With the perception sense, it's going to be a little different than the zone or the point-to-point.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Okay, yeah.
So
Yeah.
now you're gonna have to chase this guy all over the stage, and then when you get to a certain space, you're gonna need to put in another perception. You're
Right.
gonna have another bool
Yeah.
below your scene, and then on that is it within strike, not within strike,
Oh,
within strike,
okay. Yeah.
then another one for swing, and then you're gonna have to put in some kind of like chance for hit for whatever you want. And then you can calculate your damage based on that.
Right.
So you're gonna have like 6 more trees.
Yeah.
It's gonna get complicated quickly, is what I'm saying. At least I think, for the melee. For the range, it'll be a little bit easier.
Right, yeah.
Stop, pass.
Right, yeah.
At least my thoughts on it. That's what I would be thinking.
Yeah. Because I was thinking it was going to be similar to what I did in the midterm, and it might be, but I would like to mess around with that perception.
So yeah, I would dig into the perception a little bit more. And see what
Right.
you can find.
Okay.
Okay, is anybody else's presentation up to the quality of the presentations that we have seen tonight? Online or in classroom? If not, I'm just gonna say, let's take a break and we'll come back on Wednesday. And we'll go over this because we got a whole nother class. We know how to get the YouTube stuff working. We know how to get everything working. I want you to be able to show your project working, your tutorial working. I want you to be able to answer questions either about the other 2 tutorials, which is pretty obvious, how you're going to implement it, or how you're going to put your own spin on it. Does that make sense to everybody? So everybody that's gone so far has done a really good job. Their videos, how long have your videos been averaging? Like 6 to 10 minutes?
About six or so. Yeah.
Andrew, how long was yours? Okay, so somewhere between 3 and 6 minutes kind of thing of quality content. Somewhere between high-level overview and detailed breakdown of specific parts, not the whole damn thing. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, well, everybody that went so far is on the right track. Hello, Mr. Livingston. Come on in. What are you up to? Oh, you stealing this fine, lovely student? She's awesome, by the way. Okay, any questions about the project? Now, one thing that nobody did for this that would probably make your life a little bit easier is some kind of infographic at the beginning, not necessarily for everybody else, but for yourself. So that, because remember I commented on Andrew's presentation that he needed kind of a bullet point, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is what I was doing. The same thing for Livingston. Levi and Sam and James their projects would have been a little bit easier to understand if they had kind of bullet pointed it out. Now I saw you used chapters.
Mhm.
So did you have titles on your chapters or anything, or any way? So, okay, so that's good. So you didn't point that out.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So if you're using chapters, make sure you kind of point that out. How are we feeling about this project now that we're in the middle of it? Where's Matt? There's Matt. Do you understand what you're doing yet, Matt?
I mean, kinda. I have a bunch of videos that I wanna like have a basis on, but I'm still not sure the direction I wanna go.
Okay, but do you understand the project? There was a problem with you understanding the project for a couple of weeks. You got the project now. Okay, you're still not sure what you're gonna do though?
Yeah, I did AI like Sam, and I feel bad because we ended up using the exact same guy for our tutorial.
That's fine, because you still each have to do your own spin-off of it. That's just the base.
Okay.
The tutorial is like step 1 of 50. So that's just where we're getting the base information. It's like when I give you a lecture and then you go home and I tell you to do something interesting with it, do something interesting with the tutorial.
Right.
So you can all use the same tutorial because it might be the best tutorial. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns, jumping jacks?
What's due this Sunday?
All 3 tutorials done. So I believe Jane, how many tutorials have you actually completed?
I did like 7 videos in total, but 4 of them actually had like content. So technically I did like 4 pieces.
Okay, so now this is going to be where the discussion comes in. Did Jane do 1 tutorial or did Jane do 4 tutorials? Because she followed 1 tutorial chain and she did 4 video links on it. And I'll tell you what my answer is going to be on this. It really depends on the depth and complexity of the 4 that you did. So if each one of them were like 5 minutes, no, that's kind of 1. But if each one of those are like 45 minutes an hour, no, that's 4. Does that make sense?
They were each about 15.
Yeah, so you're kind of on the fence there. You could definitely incorporate something else with it. And what I would say for Jane is that if she looked at incorporating some sound tutorials to amplify that out, I made a pun. That would be a nice add to that video series. So
okay,
kind of thinking like that a little bit so that you can expand on it. Because remember, you have to do something custom with this next week that goes beyond the videos. So you want 2 different video series that you can at least blend to get your own thing. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where I'm at. So Sunday night, I expect 3 videos done as a minimum, 3 research video tutorials done. So in Jane's case, she's done 4, so she's kind of done, but I just gave her more. So I want her to add a little bit of sound tutorials to it so that we can see what we can get.
Okay.
All right, and that's really what I'm going to do for class today. Does anybody have any questions about the project? Yes.
Are you gonna be opening this one back up if we need to have it like throw in infographic or like? Or
Oh, yeah, sure. You want to open this back up? I don't mind opening it back up. Communication, discussions. We're on module 6 right now. Edit topic. I will give you until Wednesday to get this. Wednesday, actually, no, let's do Tuesday night at 11:30 p.m. Because I don't want to, I've got enough problems getting class started. I don't need any additional. Okay, again, I'm sorry for the technology issues, but the school screwed up Zoom over the summer and they put huge lag in it. What they did is they routed all the Zoom conferences from the Digital Media Center to the OIT Center, and then from the OIT Center back to the classroom. So if I'm Zooming, it goes me, OIT, me, you. And if you're coming in, you're zooming, so we had to work a bypass around that. And I can't really test this by myself. I need 15 people in the classroom because we've got audio coming from laptops and computers and me and online, and I need stuff. So I'm sorry for wasting 15 minutes of your time while we set this up, but I think for the rest of the semester, this will be a good solution and it will work for the people at home and for the people in class. Is that helpful for everybody? Okay. Anything else that I forgot? All right, if you did not go today, please plan on doing an excellent presentation on Wednesday, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much.